Freedom Talks. What are we doing here? Well, we're covering the topics as they come up and how they pertain to how we're free or not free. We look at misaligned thinking. We look at all of these pieces that can cause us to not be living life to our greatest potential. What do we have coming up this weekend? We have an online retreat, 3 full days. It's called Seeing Life Through Looking at Death. If you're not willing to look at death, it's going to hold you back from living life. I don't know how much clearer I can say that. If you're not willing to look at death, if you just keep putting it out there, if you just keep stuffing when other people die, if you ignore your body, if you live by the beliefs that are placed on you from society, from parents, from experience of the past, and you bring all of that into the moment, do you think you're going to be coming from peace? Probably not a whole lot. So when we do this freedom talk, what do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about how we don't have to be caught by those beliefs we have around death? Those beliefs we have that we're caught in around how to live life? We can blame society all we want, but if we don't bring it home, we can't do anything about it. Not even shift society. We have to go from pointing our fingers in blame to bringing it home from compassion. If we don't bring it home from a compassionate place, we will continue to be controlled by the energies of the past. Everything that society has told you about death, question. Everything that you learn from your parents or from an experience in your life, question. Take a look. See what happens when death happens in your life, whether it's a pet or it's a situation or it's a relationship. Those all represent death. Whether it's a person, a parent, a child, a friend, doesn't matter what it is. Can you recognize where the tension around death is in your body? If you can recognize where the tension is in your body, what can you do? You always have your body and you always have your breath. So you get breathing. You're going to bring some of the past into this moment. But that's not what this moment is designed for. This moment is designed for fresh. It's designed for creativity. It's designed for source creativity. So you bring the past into this moment and you cover up all that source creativity. You're not going to have a sense of how to show up cleanly or clearly. But what happens if you don't bring the past into the future, into this moment? Because bringing the past into the future just creates more covering up of the beauty. Yeah, I did say that. I said the beauty of living and dying. Now, there isn't much that doesn't live in that cycle, is there? It all lives in that cycle. Does it have to be a certain way? Well, if you're willing to sit into it for the next, 20 minutes even, you might see it differently. But if you want to take a look, really deep dive into it for 3 days, that's what we're going to be doing this weekend. But we're not just diving in, because in the end, you're free of some of the energy that was caught in your body that belongs to the past. And when you're free of that, that means that when you have some form of death show up in your life, what happens is that you get to meet that experience fresh in the moment, instead of burying it in the past energies that are caught in your system. And you can play with your misaligned thinking all you want, no doubt about it. But if it's still caught in your system and your mind is saying something different than your body, what's happening? War. So you're still at war, even if you've changed your mind and you're going to push through. If it's still caught in your body, you're going to be at war. That's called extra stress. So in this moment, when you think about death of a relationship, of a pet, of a parent, of someone close to you, of someone you don't even know, where do you feel that in your body? Where do you feel the tension? Some of you might need to close your eyes, take a look around your room, make sure that you're comfortable, that nothing's threatening you, and then close your eyes and see where death shows up in your body. What does it feel like? What qualities does it take on? Does it take on heaviness or light? Does it take on relief? Because some of you will have experienced deaths in your life that cause relief. Is that okay? Yes, it is. Some of you will experience deaths where, you wish you hadn't happened. It could have been different. Some of you will have experienced deaths in your life where you have to grieve, but you're so happy to be done with that relationship, a partnership, where you're happy there's no more suffering in a pet. Okay, so death can bring on the whole range of emotion. Where do you feel it in your body? And are you breathing into your sides? Because what do you do when you breathe into your sides? You engage all the systems in your physical body, your nervous system, your craniosacral system, your digestive system. You encourage your body to work how it's designed to work, to support you, to play in this world. Can you notice where you feel it as you breathe into the sides of your body? It might increase it to begin with, or it might settle it a little bit, or it might not even change yet. It's okay. Just noticing what's happening in your body and breathing into your sides, you've created space. Now, when you've created space, what you've done is handed over to source, where nature gets to reorganize it, where homeostatic reorganization gets to happen. When my children die, if they do before me, I want to come at it as clean as freaking possible so that I'm not pulling all this past crap into it, causing me to suffer. I want to be clear. That's freedom. So yes, we look at this a lot. Why? Because if you have old stored fear around death, it gets in the way of you living what you're inspired to live, showing up the way you're encouraged to show up. It stops you from fully loving unconditionally. Come or go. It doesn't matter. I love you. It doesn't matter. You get to live from this detached place where there's so much beauty and there's so much power and there's so much clean. You don't have to bring the stickiness into this moment when it comes to loving. If you're not fearful of death and bringing that into this moment. Because if you fear it and you bring it into this moment, it's hiding under the surface, which means it affects every aspect of your life. So what do you choose? Okay, I know we're talking to identities to some degree, but can you feel in your body? Can you feel the trueness for you? What it would be like to live life without the fear of death? My toes get tingly and they want to start moving because there's all sorts of things that this is called to. I do hope that you'll join us this weekend because we do a lot of body-centered understanding. We use breath as a somatic movement in order to help us release as much as we can out of our bodies without blowing ourselves up. It's not what we're here for. But letting all that, you're back in the flow. Follow your feet. You're not going to miss out. It's not the last time that I'm going to work with this information. Every single time it's going to be a little different because the people that show up are asking for something different. It's a living process. Every intensive and every retreat is going to show up for you as best we can.